Back to politics tonight. I still have as my guest tonight the presidential candidate of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, Adewale Adebayo. All right, thank you for staying with us, Mr. Adebayo. All right, now you would agree with me that every political party is said to have a strong base. Tell us, where is the strong base of the SDP?
Strong base of the SDP is with the poor, the neglected, the unemployed. Those people who have no voice in the State House, those people who have no friends who can give them fraudulent payments for subsidy, those people who have no link with those who are stealing 80% of our crude oil, those people who are not part of those who are receiving defense contracts and other largesse, those who are neglected, those who have to struggle to feed their children, those who were shut out of school for 8 months plus, those people who are all over the country, who have their family members serving the armed forces, who have lost lives, and many people like that are the people who are our strong base, and they're all over the country. The idea of having a geography, say it's my turn, or it's the turn of my people, that's not where the new politics is. The new politics is with those who, for whom Chapter 2 of the Constitution has been designed. Those who need those things listed in Chapter 2 of our Constitution. Those who need nutrition, who are suffering poverty of food. Those who need housing. If you look at the habitats all over the country, people are living in squalor and in ghettos all over the country. Those who are denied education. The families of those 13 million plus children who are out of school. Those who are struggling every day to just make a living all over the country. Those who use the bad roads, where you have potholes, bandits, kidnappers. Those people are victims of various injustices all over the country. That is where our constituencies are. And those are the people who are talking to us. When we go around, those are the people who thank us and ask us to hang on. Today I was in Enugu and people look at me, maybe they thought I was tired, but I wasn't. But they came to me and said, please, whatever happens, hang on there. We will surprise you positively in the election. So that is where the constituency is for us, and it's all across the country.
So tell us the strategies you have taken to sell yourself to these people you just mentioned.
The strategy is to go to them, to let them know that we know what they are going through. You know, some people will go to regional groupings looking for adoption by elite and older people who are in retirement. We just go to where the people are. The other time I was in Kenya, in Adamawa State, with a family of a whole family that lost majority of their family members in Anambra State some months ago. Nobody in the federal government has ever been there, and you will see that they are hurting. The entire community was surprised that anyone will come to look for them with all the neglect they've suffered. If you look at the victim of floods all over the country, if you look at farmers who have been displaced. So people are not against any political party. Even these political parties that have done very badly in the country, people just want to give everyone a chance. It's just that the big parties, as they call themselves, are too arrogant. They trust in their money, they trust in their so-called structure, and they're not willing to engage the people. So we only have the people, and we are talking to them, and they know that the conversation we're having with them is heartfelt. We're talking to all kinds of leadership in the country to appeal to them to be on the side of the people. We're talking to the business elite too, to let them know that you make more money, not from the misery of the people. You make more money, not from making them abjectly poor, by overcharging them for goods that are essential to their life. You don't become multi-billionaire in a country of abject poverty, that you can allow government to function and allow people to have some living wages, and you will still end up getting more money when they come to buy your products. So we're talking to everyone. We're talking to the elite to know that we're all born equal in this country. And that is why we are being received.
So how many regions have you been to since you became the presidential candidate of the SDP?
Well, there are no regions in Nigeria, but I've been to 36 states, and I'm still going to go back again. And then, by the way, I know each of the 774 local governments in Nigeria. So I go north, I go south, I go west, I go east, I go, the cardinal points of the geography. And it's a continuous engagement. When I was in Adamawa State the other time, I didn't stop in Yola. After the rally, I went as far as Mubi, in the border of Nigeria. I went to the places where people are displaced. I sat in the former headquarters of Boko Haram. I had food there, and I talked to the people who survived. When Boko Haram was here, occupying this building, where were you? How did you manage? I talked to people. I went down to Numan to see the victim of the flood, to talk to faith leaders and other leaders there. I went around the country. I went to Kenya. I went to many places that people they keep telling me, you are the only presidential candidate we have seen since 1999. So I go to such places.
All right,
it's a rich experience for me.
So having visited the 36 states in Nigeria, what do you think are the basic desires Nigerians need?
They just want a decent government. They just want a compassionate government. They're not asking for the moon. They just want a government that they can call a government, where a government that is peopled by public servants, people who want to serve, who are not after themselves. Simple things like potholes. People just want roads to where they are. So they want a simple thing like electricity. They want safety. It's not too much for a farmer to say, I want to go to my farm. I don't want to get killed on the farm. These kind of demands are less than the demands that we made on colonial government when they were in Nigeria. They just want basic things to function, and I don't think it's too hard. It's just the political class has gone too political, very callous, and doesn't even reflect the fact that politics is a gateway to service, and that these services can be rendered. You will see that we've spent more money on our politics than our people are even asking for basic services. I've never met any of the people asking me for grandiose things like that. They ask for basic things. They show me their leaking boats where they are fishing. They show me fishermen with no nets. I went to Bayelsa, people are showing me oil on the water where they fish. They're showing bridges that are broken down. They're showing an absent federal government in many places. So they just want justice. You have a litany of complaints ranging from the First Republic that people have not been addressed on them. You'll be surprised. Ask really, are we self-governing? Are we governing ourselves? Or are we being governed by aliens? So this has enriched my understanding of the patience of Nigerian people to know that even in spite of these genuine complaints they have all across, they are still peaceful, they are still hopeful, they are still respectful. And if anybody comes to them from the political class, they come out, welcome you, listen. They don't care about the fact that we are living in opulence and they are living in misery. They still hope that God will touch our heart and we will remember them. And they pray for us. So I think that this is what I've learned, that Nigerian people, maybe it's part of the problem that they are modest, they are kind, they are generous to the leadership, but the leadership should not take it for granted. Leadership should try to meet the people halfway, lay down, stoop, be at the level of the people, and not be displaying excessive wealth. Flying helicopters into the neighborhood of poor people because you don't want to use their road. You are coming to campaign. Isn't that an insult? You don't want to use the road they are using. You are flying over their head to come and say they should vote for you. This kind of behavior is not proper. So those are the things that we need to address. When you go and campaign in a village that doesn't have public transportation, people are riding bicycle, and you are going in convoys of expensive vehicle, one of which can solve the problem of the community. So these are the things that our people are doing, they're behaving like aliens. I have records of how the colonial masters used to behave, the district officers. They were living close to the people, riding bicycles, they were riding donkeys, they were also close, riding horses. But our own people now are coming like overlords over their own people. I've gone to communities where many of the leading candidates come from. Only their own houses will be livable there. The rest of the community is run down, and no roads to the place. And they go and live in big cities all over the world, saying that they have arrived. This is not fair. You go to primary schools, provincial schools, middle schools, that these politicians who are now in high places attended. You'll be ashamed that people who attended these public schools are now in high places. They are spending billions on election. They are buying airtime. They are doing live coverage. that would just blow money all over the place. They are shattering aircraft. But the communities where they come from, the primary school that they attended, no help, nothing to give back. This is why our people are asking us to have new politicians, new people who haven't forgotten the people. And I believe and I pray that every political party should look for such people who are close to the people, whose heart is still with the people. So that when we form a government next year, that government will be a kind of government that resembles what SDP has in our manifesto. That's why we are urging Nigerian people to trust in us, to hold steady, and we will give them a government that redefines governance in this country.
You see yourself in that image, the picture you just painted now?
Well, you see that all my life has been a life of compassion. All my life is about service. In my private life, it's not me to talk about it, whether it is to help with scholarships, to employ thousands of people and their families taking refuge under that economic liberation, whether it is helping communities, whether it is in every way, I've done what a citizen can do. I've got Taxpayer of the Year recommendation many times. Even the federal government has given me Employer of the Year more than once. So I've done what I can do in private life. But there's enormous goodwill and there's tremendous resources and use public resources for the people for the first time. Let's run a decent, service-oriented, simple government, which is not about making big men out of government, but making government to go to the people. In many countries of the world, they are accused of having big government, but they don't have big men. Big government means that the government intervenes in the social sector in every way: education, health, housing, employment, benefits, welfare. And when government makes those interventions, they say it's a big government. But in Nigeria today, we're having no government, but big men who have become big, if you trace their entire life, basically because of how many years they've been in government, how many years they've been able to sit on top of people's resources, and we are the same people. We need to be kind to one another, and that is the purpose of the Social Democratic Party's manifesto. That is why we keep emphasizing Chapter 2 of the Constitution. We are the only campaign basing our manifesto on Chapter 2 of the Constitution. We are the one giving hope for the people, who says, farewell to poverty and insecurity, hope again. It is our slogan. But that slogan is founded on making sure that we understand that if we apply public resources in the interest of the public, the government will be good. Anything you do, any idea you have, which does not apply the resources of the people on the needs of the people, that services only the elite, or aggrandizes only the people in government, or forms alliance with people who covet Nigeria's assets and now to come here, either internationally or domestically, to corner all our assets. Such people cannot be in government and you have peace and stability. Truth, justice, and peace come in that order. And that is what I have as a mantra in my public life.